On Larry King Now, singer-songwriter Andy Grammer. You were a busker.
Yeah, 4 years down in Santa Monica on 3rd Street.
So you would go there every day with your guitar and hope that people tipped you.
Yeah, it's the ground zero of music because you're leaving your apartment knowing that maybe no one will care. It's like going to a gig where you have nothing is promised. I try to write a lot of different things, but in my heart, I don't believe really in despair, just for despair's sake. Like, I don't believe that things are just bad. I do genuinely believe that you go through tough times and that teaches you something about where you need to go next. We made the video down on Skid Row. We went and found people who were dealing with homelessness and we gave them makeovers. So they came in and we had clothes, hair, makeup, all the cool stuff. Women got dresses and we threw a party for my video.
Plus, funniest fan encounter.
Actually, recently some girl wanted me to sign a retainer, which I thought was pretty weird.
A retainer?
She literally like pulled it out and was like, "Can you sign this?" And I was like, "Okay."
All next on Larry King Now. Welcome to Larry King Now. Today's guest, singer-songwriter Andy Grammer. Andy's infectious and upbeat melodies have spawned international hits like Keep Your Head Up, Fine by Me, and of course the Billboard Top 10 and multi-platinum selling Honey, I'm Good. His newly released third studio album, The Good Parts, is available now. What's the inspiration for this one, Andy?
Man, The Good Parts. This is one of my favorites. I feel like everybody has a story to tell. And you know, even in social media, we all talk about like it is in the form of a story that you upload. And for me, this is the most vulnerable parts of a story tend to be the best parts. And this is kind of like a storybook cover here.
Laid out very well.
So this really for me, the way that I came to this was I lost my mom about 9 years ago, and my last birthday I was really missing her. So I invited all my friends over to try and help me grieve through it a little bit. I didn't know how to feel closer to her, but I figure if you guys come over and we all tell stories about her, maybe that'll make me feel closer to her because I miss her so much. And they all came over, and I kind of told them who she was and just got as vulnerable as I could and shared about her. And we all ugly cried for about 4 hours. And it became one of my favorite days of the year. I'm like, oh man, I have my own story to tell, but I'm holding back all the good parts. It makes me think of like a little kid when you're reading him a book and they go like, yeah, just get to the good part, which always seems to be the most vulnerable parts that we have to share. Yeah, so that's kind of the idea. Yeah.
You wrote all the songs?
Yeah, totally.
It's been 3 years since you released a new full-length album. What made you come back to the studio?
Well, I have been in the studio for all those 3 years. That's kind of how I get stuff I love. So I wrote about 115 songs. Well, with touring and all the other stuff that goes into my life, to get to a place where I felt everything was good enough to release it, it took that long. Hopefully it won't take as long next time, yeah.
Is there going to be a breakout song out of this, do you think?
Yeah, I hope so. We have a song out right now called Smoke Clears, and then the title track seems to be one of the ones that everybody's really interested in.
Smoke Clears?
Smoke Clears, and then The Good Parts, yeah.
After the massive success of your singles, and they were massive, do you feel pressure? You know, like, wow, I got to come up with one again.
I think so, yeah. I think I'd be lying if I said no. But I think there's also just pressure in the artist in me to be like, I just want to make stuff I love. And if those two get too intertwined, I think that makes for bad art. So I'm like figuring that out in this new stage of my career, which is like, I definitely want to make hits. Oh my God, yes, that's how the music business runs on hits. But I don't know if it helps you when you go into the studio to like really stress about writing a hit. I think you have to like go like, I just want to make something that I love, and then hope that turns into something, yeah.
Now, you were a busker. I'd never heard the term before.
You've never heard of buskers? I mean, you've seen them.
Yeah, they're on the
Do you tip people when you pass them?
Yeah, always.
Always, right?
Street musicians.
I love street musicians. Those are my people.
And you were a busker.
Yeah, 4 years down in Santa Monica on 3rd Street.
So you would go there every day with your guitar?
Yeah.
And hope that people tipped you?
Yeah, it's the ground zero of music because you're leaving your apartment knowing that maybe no one will care. It's like going to a gig where you have nothing is promised.
What do you make on a good day busking?
When you're starting out and you suck, nothing. About 4 years into it, when you've kind of figured out your sound and you have some songs that are good, I was selling CDs for $10 a piece, and my best days were like selling about 100 CDs. So yeah, pretty good. No, as good as any of my friends that were in Los Angeles at waiting jobs or anything like that.
So what was your break? What kept you going?
Kept me going is just the love of writing songs. It's my favorite.
So what was your break?
My break was
What
Keep Your
took
Head
you
Up.
from
The first song that I wrote it while I was out on the street. I'd had a long day of performing to no one and no one caring. And you end the day and there's literally $0 in your guitar case. And I remember looking up at the sky and just going like, I'm not gonna leave. Totally your move. Like if you don't want anybody to come, I don't know who's out there or who's in control, but I'm never leaving until something good happens. And I went home and I wrote myself a little pick-me-up song, and that is the song Keep Your Head Up, and that did pretty well.
You recently said it's way easier to write sad songs. You play minor chords and it's instantly cooler. It takes a lot of effort to make something happy, not sound cheesy, but I feel like that's my life's work. And right now, in the world, we need love in all forms. So you only write upbeat?
No, I just like, I try to write a lot of different things, but in my heart, I don't believe really in despair, just for despair's sake. Like, I don't believe that things are just bad. I do genuinely believe that you go through tough times and that teaches you something about where you need to go next, and you grow from your failures. So there is always kind of that twinge in my music. But I do think that to write a happy song, I've found as someone who's written a lot of them, more shitty ones than good ones, it's just really hard to do. It's really hard to hit that thing that we all know about being happy without it being cheesy. Because I think any good song is just about relating to someone. You hear a song on the radio and you go, ah, totally, I know that I get that.
But a lot of sad songs relate to a lot of people.
Totally.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I'm saying
Boy meets
those are
girl,
those are
girl.
100% needed. The breakup songs. There's a lot of misery in the world right now.
Yeah.
And so I think that that's relatable as well, and people need that. But they also need the part of themselves that is still happy. You know.
Maybe they ought to re-release Sinatra's High Hopes.
So good. Sinatra, I see him over here.
Yeah, I knew him very well.
You knew him very well?
Very well.
He's one of my favorites.
Well, how would you describe your singing? Is it pop?
Sure. I'm like a singer-songwriter. The word pop sometimes feels a little trite, but that's the space I live in for sure.
Any artists who inspired you?
Yeah, I have. For me, it's a lot of the people that were able to do what I aspire to do, and they did it with class. Stevie Wonder is one of my favorites. I got to open for him last year. It was amazing. Lauryn Hill is one of my favorites. Honestly, Frank Sinatra, the style and class that he's able to do it with. He has a lot of songs that that are upbeat and happy, but feel really cool.
Oh yeah.
You know, he's like a king of that.
Oh,
and it's funny because sometimes you'll go back. I have a lot of playlists of Frank Sinatra that I'll listen to, and I'll be like, how does this guy get away with saying some of the stuff he's saying? Someone else would sing it, and they'd be like, who is this cheeseball?
He can do up-tempo, kind of a sad, melancholy song and make it like, I'll be seeing you in all the old familiar places. They're not together.
No, I know. I know.
He makes it happy.
He's a great, for sure. Yeah.
After the break, why Andy Grammer filmed his most recent music video in Los Angeles' Skid Row. And we'll jump into a special game of You Only Knew. Andy's new album is The Good Parts. We'll be right back. We're back with the incredibly talented and upbeat Andy Grammer. I know you didn't watch the Grammys, but how do you feel about the talent of Bruno Mars, who sweeps everything that he's in?
Man, he's pretty unbelievable. I feel like it's he can do swagger like no one right now, which is really impressive. You know.
He's also a happy, upbeat guy.
Yeah, he can really make you feel good. I love him. I love him so much.
Is there a current artist, maybe one from last night or one who you'd like to collaborate with?
I mean, huge congratulations to Alessia Cara. She's incredible. And I think a lot of her songs.
Have you collaborated?
I haven't yet, no, but I'd love to. She's amazing.
Is there someone you'd want to work with we'd be surprised to hear?
I mean, I would love to. One of my favorites, I'd love to sit in a room and write a song with Billy Joel. Like a huge Billy Joel fan, that'd be really fun.
Does he ever do collaborate?
I don't know, yeah, so I'm not sure. But Billy, if you're watching, let's do it, bro.
How did you get that contract to do a song from that song you wrote sang on the Promenade?
How did you
get the record company?
My manager right now, incredible guy, Ben Singer, he came and saw me street performing, and he heard that song that I had written, and I knew it was a cool song, but I didn't have the ear to think that was the song. And in my little apartment in Hollywood, he's like, "That's definitely it. We need to get that recorded." So he helped me get it recorded, and then he started pushing it around to people, and it kind of took off.
Now, in the Good Parts, the album, there's a song in it called Fresh Eyes.
Yeah.
And I understand the song is a charity single. All proceeds will go to the Union Rescue Mission in Los Angeles. It's a private Christian homeless shelter on Skid Row.
I'm pretty sure the process from the video, because we made the video down on Skid Row. We went and found people who were dealing with homelessness, and we gave them makeovers. And it was so, so sweet. So they came in, and we had clothes, hair, makeup, all the cool stuff. Women got dresses, and we threw a party for my video. So the whole budget went to that, and it was such a sweet day.
Wasn't condescending?
I don't think so. I think anytime you try to do anything sweet, not sweet or that charged, you can definitely be seen as someone who is trying to profit off of the disadvantaged. But if you are actually there and it's coming from a pure place in your heart, that should outweigh what you're worried people will think, because the day was incredible. I'm someone who, for my birthday, a lot of times had gone down to Skid Row and had a party. People bring over sandwiches and all their clothes, and then we go down and give it all away. So I've been to Skid Row, I don't know, 6, 7 times just in my life. And so when the song Fresh Eyes, which is all about seeing people with a new view, came about, we're like, oh, we should try to look at homelessness in a different way, you know? And as I started as a street performer, there were many times where I'd be waiting for my spot, and there's a lot of people suffering from homelessness in Santa Monica. And when you have 2 hours that you're waiting, it's not just like, hey, I'm not just walking past someone. The person's sitting next to me, and I was like, what's up, dude? How are you? Your name's Dave. Like, let's hang out. Tell me about your story. Who are you? And I think that was what I was trying to do with this video, was show a little bit more of the person. And when you watch them have a makeover and see a little bit of watching them get some of their dignity back, it was pretty powerful.
Now, you were born in Los Angeles, right?
Yeah.
Moved to New York, back to L.A.
Yeah.
Okay. You're a new father.
Yeah.
And your daughter's name is Louisiana.
Yeah.
Or Louisiana, as
Yeah.
they say. Why did you name her Louisiana?
I travel to so many cities around this country, and a lot of cities do things, I would just say, better than others. You know what I mean? And what I found was when I got down to Louisiana, there was a premium on joy that seems to be more than other places that I visited, and I loved that.
Especially New Orleans.
Especially New Orleans. Just there's like, you get in a cab and there's a vibrant cab driver, or then you get to the restaurant and everybody's like, are you happy? You feeling good?
Yeah, there's something about New Orleans. Someone said it's like it's on tape.
Yeah, I know, right? And so when I wanted to name my daughter something for joy, I wanted to think of something for joy. And to me, the word Louisiana means joy, so we call her Louie.
You call her Louie?
Yeah, it's really sweet.
Although down there, pronounce it Louisiana.
Louisiana, of course, yes.
Has it changed your perspective having a child?
Yeah, I think it should. Just makes you want to be a better person, you know? I'm very aware that she's going to do as I do, not as I say. So that means I need to really take a look at myself and see what I'm doing, you know? And that's kind of on my day-to-day, is like, how do I become a better person so that I can raise a better person?
When we return, we'll talk about Andy's childhood celebrity crush, his funniest fan encounter, secret talent, and more in a game of If You Only Knew. The Good Parts is the new album, the new CD. Stay with us on this edition of Larry King Now. We're back with Andy Grammer. His new one is The Good Parts. And we play a little game here of If You Only Knew.
Okay.
The questions, they just come up and I read them. And
let's do it. Hard-hitting questions.
what was
with
your first car?
Honda Civic. It broke down on the highway because it was pretty old.
Driving to the 3rd Street, probably.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Childhood celebrity crush.
You know, it's so funny. I was just sang at the Women's March in Los Angeles, and I got to meet Marissa Tomei, and that was pretty cool.
Superpower you wish you had?
Flight. I mean, that sounds cheesy, but that's great. I'm down to fly.
I'd like to be invisible.
Invisible. Ooh, as a reporter, yeah, that's pretty good.
Proudest accomplishment?
My daughter. I know. I would like to give you cooler answers, but that's for sure my proudest.
Artist from yesteryear you wish you could collaborate with?
And now that we've been talking about it, Frank would be awesome. I would love to do a track
He did
with
duet albums.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. You know, when I was on Dancing with the Stars, I had to do a lot of, what was his name? Shoot, I'm blanking on it. I had to do, Gene Kelly. I did a dance that Gene Kelly sang, and we got to go meet his widowed wife, and she had all this awesome memorabilia of Gene and Frank and all the stuff they did together. So, yeah.
Gene taught Frank how to dance.
Yeah. And that's, you said he had so much confidence. I remember I watched some videos of them dancing together and him keeping up with like one of the best dancers ever. It was freaking
How did you do on dancing?
I did okay. I think I made like 8 episodes. I'm really competitive. Not a very good dancer, but competitive.
Secret talent?
I can beatbox a little bit, and I did really try to do magic in high school. I'm not very good at that. We can call it talent, a wannabe talent.
Funniest fan encounter?
Funniest fan encounter, I think recently some girl wanted me to sign a retainer, which I thought was pretty weird. Yeah.
A retainer?
She literally like pulled it out and was like, "Can you sign this?" And I was like, "Okay." Sure.
If not music, then what?
Some form of writing. I just love, I love writing. I love when you read someone else's thoughts, you're like in their brain. That's my favorite.
Biggest misconception about Andy Grammer?
That he's just happy all the time.
Well, you give that off.
Yeah, but I mean, everybody has crap they're dealing with, yeah.
Favorite place to write lyrics?
It's kind of an all-the-time thing.
You'll be writing a lyric driving in a car?
Yeah, I did. I was writing down little notes, just in love with language. So anytime you see a cool word or phrase put a certain way, throw it in your phone for later.
Best piece of advice you ever got?
My dad told me before I went into my first day of high school that all the cool kids will change. So be nice to everybody.
What school did you go to?
I went to Monroe-Woodbury, which is an hour north of New York City in New York.
Artists we'd be most surprised to hear you listen to?
I don't have to be surprised. I mean, I love Louis Armstrong. I listen to a lot of him. Yeah.
He's a great trumpeter and a great singer.
Such a good singer.
Artists you're most excited to hear new music from?
I just heard a new song by the Ex-Ambassadors. It's called Joyful, and it's so good. Go listen to it if you get a chance.
Favorite thing to do on a day off?
Now it's just spend time with my daughter. You know, she's 6 months and she just started laughing. So just kind of like sitting on the couch trying to make my daughter laugh is my favorite activity.
Most embarrassing moment on stage?
I like to jump off stage and get in the crowd. And there was a time where I jumped off and the stage was too high, so I couldn't get back up. It's pretty awesome. Yeah.
Advice you'd give to young artists?
Don't be afraid. Fear is probably the biggest one. Like, be willing. If you can handle having people think you're terrible, that is step one. And I think a lot of people don't know that. And so if any of artists are listening, if you can deal with everyone thinking that you're bad for a long period of time, you are on your road to being good.
So true.
Yeah.
In our final moments, singer Andy Grammer will take your questions from social media. The new CD is The Good Parts. We'll be right back. We're back with Andy Grammer. His new CD is The Good Parts. We'll have some social media questions.
Okay.
Corin Roberts on the Larry King Now blog. Is there a particular moment when you knew you had made it?
Probably the first time I went on a headlining tour. You know, having started as a street performer, your whole thing is just knowing that you're going to go and have to build your crowd, literally person by person. So you're out on the street and you're like, as someone's walking by, you're like, "What's your name?" And they're like, "Tina." You're like, "Tina." Like, you're there. You stay there for a second and just trying to get everybody to stay. So the first time that I did a tour and it was sold out in like a lot of major cities in the U.S., that was like, oh, this is different. I don't have to try so hard to get you to just stop for a second.
Did you have a hat there for them to drop money?
Oh, yeah, totally. Yeah.
Corey Anderson, if you could cover an album from start to finish, what would it be and why?
Probably either Songs in the Key of Life by Stevie Wonder or Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. Both of those are so great.
Claire Bell Gator on Twitter. Do you know of any other stars who made it from busking, or any of them on the 3rd Street Promenade?
I don't know about the 3rd Street Promenade. I know that Ed Sheeran definitely busked. I know that Justin Bieber busked. There's a guy named Passenger who did a lot of busking. I think he still does it. It's kind of his thing. So it's a great way. It's like you literally, when you're starting out, especially in a big city like Los Angeles, you go to a club, you're like, hey, can I play? And they're like, no. You're like, okay. And that happens all the time. So busking is one way. It's like freedom of speech. You're not allowed to tell me I can't play here.
Justin Bieber did it?
I've heard that he did some of that, yeah.
Stephanie Donahue on Facebook. What is your favorite song that you've ever written or recorded?
For different reasons. I mean, a song like Honey, I'm Good is cool because it hits so many people. Lyrically, one of my favorites is actually, honestly, the good parts on this record. I feel like it gets to a deeper level that I've really wanted a slow ballad that could say some things like that. And the first time I got it.
Is there a song you wrote that you thought couldn't miss and did?
Yeah. I mean, I think that is songwriting. I don't think there's like one. For each album, I write about 100. So every time that I'm in the studio, I'm like, this is it! It's going down! And then like 85 is like, nope, not this time. Okay, let's go to 86.
Have songs you've written surprised you?
Yeah, you know, this song, Fresh Eyes, that's got like, man, almost 350 million streams. I thought that was a good song. I didn't know that was going to be like a whole thing.
Morgan Shave on the Larry King Now blog. Is there an instrument you wish you could play?
I am so frustrated that I can't play the drums because I can hear it all. So I can sit down at a drum set and look at it and go like, I want to go, and then I sit and just go like in reality. So that's really,
so
really
you could
frustrating.
take some lessons. You're musical. You could play.
Totally. I got to do that.
Laurie Sanders on the Larry King Now blog. Where do you see yourself in 10 years?
I hope that I have such 10 more years of great songs means that it's just like a really worthwhile, like a 2-hour show would make me happy. Because anybody who can really throw a great 2-hour show, what that means is that you have a body of work that will keep people excited for that long. And so that's hopefully where I see myself.
Do you want to do any acting?
I'm into acting, sure, I'm down. It's like right now my main passion is still songwriting, but if there are a couple different acting opportunities, I'm into it.
How did you meet Louisiana's mother?
She's a songwriter too, and we met at college in the music department.
What school?
Cal State Northridge. Yeah. Good to meet
Great meeting you.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Big thanks to my guest, Andy Grammer. You can see him on the pier. Still goes back and does it. Be sure to pick up a copy of his new album, The Good Parts. It's available everywhere now, and as always, you can find me on Twitter at King's Things. I'll see you next time.